In 1947, President Harry Truman signed an executive order forming a highly classified committee made up of government officials, military leaders, and scientists whose sole purpose was to investigate alien spacecraft. Or did he? Today, we take a look at this alleged group known as Majestic 12. We'll discuss the story of its uncovering, the investigation it's alleged that they were a part of, and what a federal investigation determined about this committee. We'll also tell the story of Richard Doty, an Air Force officer whose job was to spread UFO misinformation, which led to one man being checked into a mental health facility. I'm Mike.
I'm Ian.
And I'm Dave. If you thought tonight's show was about College Mike's gigantic cock, stick around. He actually had to bang those sorority girls 3 times to give him that majestic 12-incher. This is Necronomipod.
Somewhere, something that we can look at, touch, feel.
I think you've asked the wrong question. By the nature of the beast, the pieces that were picked up at Roswell, for example, which are described in the document that was alluded to earlier, are not available for your viewing or my viewing. They clearly are top secret, eyes only, something above that.
Let me respond, if I may, to an issue that's come up here that I think is very important. These alleged top-secret, eyes-only documents provide ABC, provide the nation an opportunity to find out for themselves firsthand what sort of nonsense the UFO proponents are spouting.
So to get started, we got some housekeeping stuff to get through off the top here. I know a lot of times we save it for the end, but we're going to kick it off right now. First thing is, I know we were all getting pretty fired up earlier, especially Ian. We're ready to fight tonight. All the bootlegging of our shit on Amazon. What is going on? Did we officially make it? Is that what this means? Like that we made it, we're famous, we're big time?
Apparently.
I don't know. I don't love it.
I think people just run algorithm searches on images using SEO stuff and just replicate and auto put it up for sale. I think there's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, we've had some people sending us stuff that they found on Amazon. Like today, someone sent us it was a Necronomipod calendar day planner that had our like alien abduction UFO logo on it. And he was like, is this legit? And no, it is not.
Well, that was in the UK store too. So maybe Rose West in prison can buy that and plan out her day.
Yeah, there she goes. So just to be clear, our stuff on Amazon is sold directly from Amazon. If you see anything else out there that says Necronomipod or has our logo and it is not being sold directly from Amazon, it is not ours. They are stealing from us. It is not legit. On top of that, the only things we sell currently are T-shirts, tank tops, zip-up hoodies, pullover hoodies, long-sleeve T-shirts, and phone cases. If you see anything else on Amazon, that is not ours. It is someone ripping us off. So make sure you check for that. Make sure it's one of those things that you're purchasing, and make sure you're directly buying it from Amazon. No other sellers have our permission or authorization to use our name and logo.
Yeah, those Necro maxi pads, those are not real. Those are pirated.
Exactly.
As much as you girls might love them, not real merchandise.
If you want Necronomipod inside, you just wait for Cucks Across America, and I'll be right there. So
when it comes to your vag, you don't want knockoff stuff.
Exactly. And if you need treatment, you go to Dave's Gynecology, the best in the business.
Unlicensed and very economically fair. What did I say? No, no copay, no license, no copay. I think that was the tagline.
I haven't heard it in a long time. I don't remember. But it's good to hear you guys are still in business, still operating.
Oh, yeah. Doing a whirlwind business here.
Yeah.
We do a lot of video appointments during COVID.
Of course. You have to.
Yeah, it's great.
And it automatically streams, uploads right up to Pornhub as well, right?
That's right. That's right.
Like a joint sponsorship with them.
I got multiple income streams here.
One of those like premium accounts on Pornhub or something. Not that I don't know if they have that. I'm just assuming maybe they have premium accounts. I mean, I don't know what they do on porn websites. I don't use them. I read the Bible.
You get like a 1 to 10 rating, and depending on what your vagina looks like, you either go to Pornhub or you go to like a medical deformity cam for people that are into that sort of thing.
You get put on porn, or like one of those like porn websites that's just nothing but like viruses uploaded to your computer when you click on it.
That's right.
The dark side of porn.
I kid. All vaginas are beautiful.
Well, okay. So anyways, our merch is on Amazon.com. Search for Necronomipod. International shipping is still, I think, questionable, unavailable because of the pandemic. We do have inquiries in with Amazon, but essentially at this point, they're just telling us that they're, to hold tight, and they'll have it back up at some point. So we appreciate everyone not in the U.S. that is looking for stuff. We know you guys want some merch. It's just out of our hands right now, unfortunately. But you can get koozies and stickers available at necronomipod.com if you wish to have that. So check that out.
And our lazy ass never took down the Black Friday sale. So if you hurry up and get on there, you can get some pretty sweet deals.
Speaking of our website, if you want a little 2-for-1, get yourself some deals on koozies and stickers. We currently have our annual vote going for the first topic you guys want us to cover for 2021. A vote going at necronomipod.com. There are 4 options. Dave, would you like to tell them what the options are?
Number 1, the West Memphis 3. Number 2, Israel Keys. Number 3, Leonard Lake, Charles Eng. And number 4, perennial favorite, the always not guilty, Casey Anthony.
God damn, those are 4 popular topics. Probably the 4 most requested topics we get.
I agree, yeah, for sure.
Hopefully it's a dogfight. I want to see a real close race. Comes down to the wire. We posted that on, what's the date? January. Fuck, I'm living in the future. December 10th. And we're going to let it run for 2 weeks. So you have until December 24th, Christmas Eve, to get your vote in at necronomipod.com. It's got all 4 pictures of the topics up there. Click on the one you want. And the leader will know by December 24th who the winner is. And then that show will be the first topic that we cover in January. So we did that last year. And the winner was, who the fuck won last year?
John Bonet.
John Benet Ramsey, that's right. And then that took 7 weeks of episodes to get through. And we did it.
Well, if it's West Memphis 3, it'll be another 7 week. It'll be a long,
That's a long
January.
story, yeah.
I've wanted to do West Memphis 3 for a while, so, that would be fun. And John Benet turned into one of my favorite series we've ever covered, so you never know. But so yeah, voting at necronomipod.com. While you're there, pick up some stickers and koozies. But those are the 4 topics. Voting is now open. Go cast your vote, and we'll know the answer on Christmas Eve.
Mike, I had a question real quick. Is Casey
Yes, sir.
Anthony prohibited from voting? She's allowed to vote for herself, correct?
She's allowed to vote, yeah.
Okay, great. Just making
Absolutely.
sure.
Yeah. We'll make sure we tweet her, too, and direct message her and email her and contact her agent and let her know.
I've been trying. No return. No return correspondence.
Fishy. Last thing to cover, making a few slight changes to our Patreon, at least at the $10 tier, due to listener feedback and overall feedback we've been getting from patrons. The $10 tier of our Patreon is going to change slightly. The $1 tier and the $5 tiers are going to stay the same. Nothing's going to change for that. The $10 tier, you're still going to get 3 bonus shows a month, and you're still going to get the Sunday shows early, and they get those ad-free, correct, Ian?
Yeah.
So you'll still get those early and ad-free. With the new $10 tier, here's what you're going to get. The Zooms are going to become quarterly, so we're going to do those every 3 months. So you'll probably get 4 in 2021. You're also going to get to vote every month on one of the 3 bonus shows that we do. The $10 patrons will get to, again, this is all for the $10 tier. You'll get a quarterly Zoom. You'll get to vote on one of the 3 bonus shows we do every month. We'll give you a few topics to pick from. The $10 patrons get to pick. And last but not least, you will get an exclusive to the $10 tier once a month Bible Babble bonus episode.
What?
Exclusive to the $10 tier. Yeah, we didn't tell Dave until just now. He's doing bonus work for the show.
Thanks for the heads up.
Yep, we got you, pal.
I
So
mean, I
that'll
just
be
need to promote the Lord and the Bible to all the faithful followers out there. And I think it's time. Its time has come.
So people have been asking about it since we, even kind of joked about it, really. It started as a joke, but people wanted it. Dave's going to deliver because he's that kind of guy.
That's true.
Of course, if you pay him $10 a month. But anyway, so that'll be starting in January. December is going to stay the same, but starting in January, again, the Zooms are going to move to quarterly. $10 patrons will get to vote on one of the bonus shows that we do every month. And you will also get an exclusive to the $10 tier, Bible Babble with your pal Dave, every month.
That's me.
At the $10 level.
Hello.
Hey. So that's all starting in January. Big things.
Really big things.
I was going to say, you guys' enthusiasm is overwhelming.
Speaking of big things, are we talking about Majestic 12 tonight?
Boom. That is a transition, motherfucker.
Mike, I apologize for my facetious opening there. I don't want to ever
Thought it was great.
malign your history as the king of the frat house.
Hey, when I'm telling the story, it's just about my delivery. You know, I would ask that nobody go back and talk to the women of my college days because I don't want my reputation destroyed.
Well, they send us messages all the time, and we try not to mention those on the air.
Old small cock Mike, that's what they call me. But he sure does try hard.
A for effort, minuscule Mikey.
Minuscule Mikey. New shirt coming to Amazon, Minuscule Mikey.
Hey, Mikey, I don't like it.
Anyways, Majestic 12.
So yeah, tonight we are going to be talking about Majestic 12. And this one's going to tie back in with our Roswell episode really well. So if you haven't listened to Roswell, might be a good thing to listen to that one first and then head over for this one.
So Roswell, that was the initial episode you guys did by yourselves before I joined you guys.
Yeah.
And I always forget that, like, we didn't... When did we actually release the show? Like, when did we do the show? Was it like a month or two in?
I don't know. It was a while in.
Yeah, because like in my mind, Roswell was always our first show, but it wasn't. We just recorded it like 3 or 4 times as like a practice run. I always forget that it came out like a while after.
Not too long, though.
I think like maybe a month or two. Like we had about 5 or 6 episodes out already, I think.
It was March 24th, 2019 in the year of our Lord.
Yeah, and we started our first show was like what, January 12th?
Yeah.
So we were like 10 weeks in.
Mm-hmm. It was right after Screen Door Intruder, Richard Ramirez.
Look at that.
And right before the first episode of Jonestown. Fond memories, pals. Fond memories.
Wow. Throwback days. All available in our archives.
That's before anyone knew who Mr. Muggs was.
It's true.
Yeah.
Before he became a legend.
Yeah. Pour one out for Muggs.
So if you haven't listened to Roswell, go back, download it, listen to it right now, and then come back.
So back in 1984, a TV producer named Jamie Shindera had been working on a fictional movie about UFOs, but it had been stopped due to funding issues. For help in developing the story, he had help from a guy named Bill Moore. You'll remember Bill Moore from our episode on Roswell, because he was the guy that co-authored the first book on the Roswell incident, did a lot of research for it, and he was always a main speaker at a lot of UFO conventions.
So was Bill a great resource for fictional movie writing because of the whole weather balloon plotline, that kind of stuff?
He was.
Okay.
I've already got myself prepared for all the weather balloon jokes tonight.
Mike, what does UFO stand for? Can you remind our listeners?
Unidentified flying object.
Nice. I wasn't sure he was going to get that or not.
It's always MUFON and NICAP that confuse me. But isn't MUFON a mutual unidentified flying object network?
Yeah.
And then I don't remember NICAP.
Yeah. I mean, the answer I was going for, Mike, was unlimited fucking orgasms, which I believe we tied back to your frat house room at some point as the UFO
we did?
acronym. Unlimited
I
fucking
don't
orgasms.
recall that.
I think that was in the Billy Meyer episode.
I have zero recollection of that.
Yeah, we know.
It's true.
We know.
It's true. It's true. A lot of the girls that I, courted back in college have UFO tattoos on their shoulders. I mean, it's not like in a creepy, like, cult way. Like, I fucking was playing volleyball with knee pads or anything. But
Right.
they had, they would get tattoos that said UFO because just like as a symbol and tribute to the unlimited orgasms they achieved in, dorm room 12.
It's quite a tribute. I mean, that's amazing.
I agree.
How do you think they explain those tattoos to their current beaus, or their spouse these days? Just,
I think they just said they went through a phase where they were really into to aliens.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Or, a phase where they were really into being probed, something like that. Oh, boy.
Duly noted.
2 weeks of talking about serious murder and rape, and this is what happens when we do a non-serious episode.
I need some of this. I'm tired of the fucking Wests, man.
We're 2 sentences in, and we're already off the rails.
On an afternoon in December of 1984, Jamie received a manila envelope to his North Hollywood home. It had no return address, but it was postmarked from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Inside was a smaller envelope, and inside that was a third smaller envelope. The third envelope was also unmarked besides a Marriott hotel logo on the back, and inside the third envelope was a roll of film.
Envelope and an envelope and an envelope.
Packaged very well.
It's like one of those little Russian nesting dolls. Interesting.
Yeah.
Right?
Have you guys ever been in Albuquerque?
No.
I have not.
Beautiful. I like Albuquerque.
Yeah?
I love it out there.
It's a lot of MMA fighters out in Albuquerque. It's like a big fight town.
And Walter White, too.
Before doing anything with the film, Jamie thinks that it was Bill Moore who sent this to him because Bill was from New Mexico and they had kept in touch after the UFO movie fell through. The two had plans to meet for dinner that night, so Jamie took the roll of film with him. When they sat down and started talking, Bill was just as surprised as Jamie was about the package because he knew nothing about it. After they left the restaurant, the two went back to Bill's house to develop the film in Bill's kitchen sink. And when they looked at the roll under a magnifying glass, they realized that they're not normal photos. They're photos taken of documents.
Intriguing. Do you know what restaurant they were at?
I don't.
I was curious. Not important. That must have been a dark house if they could dark room in the kitchen sink, right?
I picture all these UFO researcher guys living in very dark houses.
Yeah, right. Like triple drapes, no light ever gets in there.
Yeah.
Like the government's watching me, they got their tinfoil hats on.
There are photos of 8 documents, typewritten and stamped at the bottom, quote, top secret, magic eyes only, being spelled MAJIC, shortened for the project we're going to be talking about in this episode, Majestic 12. The first 5 pages are a briefing for incoming President Eisenhower, dated November 18th, 1952. According to the briefing, Majestic 12 was a top-secret committee that reported directly to the president. It was created by the previous president, Harry Truman, after the crash at Roswell.
Hey, Ian, I had a magic vagina-only project when I was in the White House. I make the cigars disappear.
That's still the craziest thing ever, that he was into doing that.
Hey, to each their own.
Yeah, it was a cohibas and clits night every Monday in the White House. Cohibas and clits. Loved it.
Didn't he have to admit that, like in front of Congress and shit, that he did that?
Oh, yeah. He talked himself into a corner. In his deposition, he was like, well, it depends what your definition of is. Like, well, this ain't going to end good.
It's true. They went through every single word and tried to figure out how to get away with it and what sexual intercourse was. That's why he said, I did not have sex with that woman. Because then he came back later and was like, well, to me, sex is when, a penis goes in a vagina.
He's a smart guy, man. He tried his best, but he almost got there. But that goddamn Linda Tripp fucked him.
She's a trip.
She is a trip. I gotta say, though, I love Harry Truman. One of my favorite presidents. Mike, you're a big president guy.
I think Harry Truman's extremely fascinating. I'm excited to read about him. Yeah. There's a new book out, Dave. You were gonna read that one. Did you get it yet?
Joe Scarborough's book? No, it's on my list. I'm gonna be reading that.
Yeah, there's. I think Harry Truman's I think he's underrated and or at least understudied. I think he should be studied more. And I don't think he is. Because, you got FDR, and then after FDR, you kind of move, like, you'd know about Truman dropping the atomic bombs or whatever. And then you kind of skip ahead to, like, the 50s and Happy America and Eisenhower, and then right into, like, the Kennedys and Camelot and all that. And I feel like Truman kind of gets skipped over in that age of, like, 4... that's 3 out of those 4 presidents were just like such big, powerful figures. And I think Truman gets overlooked a lot of times.
I think that's right. I mean, the American education system being what it is. I mean, they learn about World War II, but Truman ends up really, I guess, being a footnote and not really explored very deeply after FDR and World War II concludes there. They talk about him, making the decision to drop the atomic bomb, and I think that's the last you hear about Truman. That's
really it. Yeah, he's just a footnote. I just think maybe not underrated. That's up to everyone else to make their own mind, but at least understudied for sure.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy too. So I'm looking forward to that book. Yeah,
as you were, Ian.
The actual date is muddy, but at some point in the first week of July 1947, something crashed on a ranch in Corona, New Mexico, and was found by rancher Mac Brazel. It was reported to the police station in Roswell, New Mexico, because Corona didn't have a police station, and 2 intelligence officers from the Army Airfield 509th Operation Group were sent out to investigate. The RAAF put out a press release on July 8th, 1947 that said they had recovered a, quote, flying disc, but this was later dialed back, and they said that it was a weather balloon that crashed.
Oh, I've never heard that before. A weather balloon? Is that what it was? That's interesting. If any of you ever meet Ian, the first thing you should say to him when you meet him is, Roswell was a weather balloon. And then wait for his reaction. That's my advice to all of you.
And right after you say it, just stare him in the eyes and take a big bite of a cookie.
And be like,
don't say hi to me or anything.
Delicious.
Be awesome.
So depending on what story you go off of, there was a UFO, and in some accounts there were alien bodies recovered along with the UFO. According to the Majestic 12 documents, all of this was real. So when we did our Roswell episode, we kind of blended the two together. Remember we said Philip Corso, who wrote one of the books on Roswell, wrote it like it was an action movie, and then Stanton Friedman and Bill Moore, they treated it more like their version of events or what they felt was real.
Yeah.
According to Majestic 12, all that stuff was real, even the crazy aspects of it, like that there were alien bodies and stuff.
Like the little aliens, right? Like, because they were like the tiny little things that were like fitting in that craft.
Right, your standard gray.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've all seen them autopsied at Area 51 20 years ago, which was totally believable, right?
That was so funny a couple years ago, and it was added to when they added that on Netflix for whatever fucking reason. I was watching it, and Angie came on. She's like, "What the fuck are you watching? Like, don't you remember this shit from back in the 90s?"
It's so funny because on YouTube now there's videos of the people that made all those old videos explaining how they faked everything, like Faces of Death. Like, those guys just sit around and laugh and talk about how they made the Face of Death movie, and people to this day think that was real.
What's the Faces of Death movie?
It started out with them eating monkey brains, bashing the monkey over the head and eating the monkey brains and all these purported, real live death scenes and stuff. But if you go on YouTube, you can watch the guys that made the movie just laughing about it and showing how they faked everything. I was also going to say, I looked up the population of Corona, New Mexico, and it's like 160 something people. I bet to this day they're pissed that they don't get credit for Roswell. It's like fucking. It's like you with your Kool-Aid. It's fucking Flavor Aid. They're like fucking Corona. It wasn't Roswell.
Seriously.
Well, that Stanton Friedman's book about it, he doesn't call it Roswell at all. He calls it the Corona incident.
See? There you go.
He's very specific about it. Yeah.
First live show we're going to do in Corona, New Mexico, and Ian can eat at that nearby UFO McDonald's. Isn't that one of your life goals?
Yeah.
Or is that over
Roswell.
by...
It's in Roswell.
It's in Roswell, but it's in that area. So we can do a live show in Corona as a make good to them for not getting their just due. And then we'll go to Roswell and you can eat at your McDonald's.
Yeah, from what I read online, Corona, there's a lot of meth activity going on out in Corona.
Oh, that's weird.
All the UFO stuff is happening in Roswell, and then you leave Roswell and the surrounding areas is nothing but meth.
Yeah, they're dejected. They got no credit for the weather balloon landing there. They're fucking pissed, dude.
Yeah. Can you imagine if like the Cleveland Browns won a Super Bowl and then everyone was like, yeah, Akron won a Super Bowl. The Akron Browns won. And then everyone in Cleveland's like, motherfucker. We'd all become crackheads. I've been Betty Hill.
I've been to Roswell. It's an interesting place. I highly recommend you go
McDonald's?
through there. I don't think I did. I don't even know if we stopped. I think we just drove through.
Yeah, probably best.
But I remember lots of fucking green and gray alien heads everywhere.
So, Dave, you've been to Roswell and you've been to Point Pleasant, West Virginia for the Mothman Museum. Which did you prefer? I mean, I guess you didn't stop in Roswell, but was Mount Pleasant better? Point Pleasant?
I mean, I think there might have been a lot of meth activity going on in Point Pleasant, West Virginia as well. It just has that, Ohio.
Didn't you post the photos of like when you were driving through? Where was that at? With like all the shady like RV UFO stuff?
Where was that at?
Do you remember what I'm talking about though? Like the trailer park UFO stuff that you saw?
Yes, it was like a UFO center. It was all spray painted. And
oh
shit.
no, that was
shady.
That was in South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the guy made a homemade UFO in his front yard, and it's
check out.
Yeah, I found it on the tourist attraction. The road map stuff. I'm like, all right, we gotta fucking go here.
The UFO Welcome Center, Bowman, South Carolina. Go check out. We'll plug his Instagram again. Check out Dave_Namapod on Instagram. He posted it. It's just a few posts back in September. And this thing is fucking, the three of us could make a better UFO museum with our bare hands than what this thing is.
It was wild. I was waiting for the popo to roll up and ask me what I was doing there. I was sitting in an empty lot across the street taking pictures of this trailer park. It wasn't even a trailer park. It was a guy. I guess his trailer was in the backyard, and it was just this empty lot on the corner that had this UFO welcome center. It's wild, though.
Like, he literally just put up, like, spray-painted white wooden panels that said UFO Welcome Center.
Yeah, more or
Flying
less.
saucer parking here.
Yeah, more or less.
Space people only. And then this thing just looks like he took all, like, the duct tape and cardboard he could find to build this big UFO. There's, like, a fucking ladder in front of it. Ugh, this is hilarious. Oh,
I dare not.
And you wonder
go
why
inside.
people laugh at America.
No, I don't wonder at all. Out of the three, I think I would go with. I don't know. The Mothman Museum is pretty cool. Like the statue's really cool.
I was gonna say,
it's neat. I mean, it's just
Pleasant
one of
seemed
those downtrodden, Ohio, West Virginia border towns along the river. But I don't know. It was nice. It was a cool spot.
There it is. So
I have nothing but good things to say about Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
Boom.
So according to the Majestic 12 documents, all that stuff was real. The UFO, the alien bodies, everything. And a secret team was sent out to recover the wreckage along with 4 alien bodies. And after going over everything, they realized the wreckage was not something we were capable of, and the bodies weren't human. To keep this under control, after the RAAF announced a UFO had been recovered, President Truman created Majestic 12 to handle everything related to the crash. They were to report directly to him, and no one else was to hear a word about it. Attached to this briefing was a classified executive order from President Truman authorizing Majestic 12, dated December 24th, 1947. So with Bill and Jamie sitting there like looking at this, there's no way that they could go public with these documents. If they were fake, it would ruin Bill's credibility in the UFO world. And on the other hand, if they were real, they could potentially get in trouble for having highly classified documents. Like even faking something like this would get you in a lot of trouble with the FBI. So they decided to keep it quiet, and they reached out to Stanton Friedman for help.
Yeah, I think things were a lot different back then with, having in your possession classified documents. A little bit different situation in the country. Or even like in the 70s when was it the Post or the New York Times that printed the Pentagon paper stuff that they charged? Did they charge them, or they were going to charge them?
I think at minimum they were threatened to be charged.
Yeah, like it was a little different back, and it's even worse back in the 40s. I mean, come on. So yeah, I get the dilemma.
So Stanton Friedman was the guy who broke the Roswell story wide open and brought it to the public light. Stanton was a nuclear physicist with top secret military clearance and would eventually fully believe in UFOs and become one of the top UFO researchers. At first glance, Stanton noticed that almost all of the names listed as being members of Majestic 12 were names that came up when he was digging into the Roswell subject.
So Stan had credibility.
He's pretty much exactly like J. Allen Hynek. Hynek was brought on to work for Project Blue Book. Yeah. And he was a skeptic, and then eventually he would end up believing in UFOs. And Stan Friedman was the same. He was he was working on some nuclear projects and stuff, and something along the way made him flip and believe in UFOs.
Right, but I guess he's not a Bubba in Mississippi hunting Bigfoot.
No,
he's not a schmuck.
He's a nuclear physicist with top security military clearance, so he's not. I just want to loop him into the wacko category that some of the people in this area get looped into, I guess.
Right.
He's a stand-up guy.
So the names that were listed: Robert Montague, deputy commander at Fort Bliss, Texas, where the debris from Roswell were initially sent.
So the weather balloon pieces, is that what you mean?
Yep, all that stuff.
There's photos of all of it online.
All that foil and boxwood and all that stuff.
It adds up. It's all there. It adds up.
Nathan Twining, he spoke to the press about Roswell right after the wreckage was found. James Forrestal, the Secretary of Defense. Gordon Gray, Assistant Secretary of the Army. Roscoe Hillenkotter, at the time the current director of the CIA. Hoyt Vandenberg, previous director of the CIA. Sidney Sowers, another previous director of the CIA, and 4 high-level scientists who worked on military aircraft development. So if this would be true, all these people would make sense to be part of something like this.
So either the names lend a lot of legitimacy here, the person faking it knew what they were doing and knew what they were talking about and knew all the primary players involved.
And they would know exactly who would pique Stanton Friedman's interest.
Yeah,
the names for him to see.
Mm-hmm.
But the one name that stood out to Stanton was a guy named Donald Menzel. Menzel was an astrophysicist and one of the biggest skeptics of UFOs in the country. Menzel had written multiple books claiming to have debunked the UFO phenomena, so it did make sense that he would be involved in a cover-up regarding Roswell.
Maybe that was his cover. He was a double agent. Double, triple,
wow. triple double agent.
Triple dog dare you agent.
You can't triple stamp a double stamp. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. Fucking greatest comedy of all time, Dumb and Dumber.
It really is. I love that fucking movie.
Name one better.
So good.
Name one better.
I don't think I can.
Maybe Borat. I don't know.
What?
Those are in my top. I think those are for sure in my top 5.
I think that's right.
So Stanton went to the Library of Congress to do some further research into the MJ-12 papers, and he found a letter written to Donald Menzel from one of the scientists claimed to be on the MJ-12 team, Dr. Vannevar Bush. In the letter, Menzel was told the Air Force had cleared him of charges of disloyalty, and he was allowed to keep his security clearance. The charges of disloyalty weren't weird to Stanton because during the McCarthy era, everyone was under investigation for communist ties. We talked about that back in our Albert Bender episode with how McCarthy was hammering all those UFO guys for potential communist ties and things like that.
Oh, yeah, the House Committee on Un-American Activities. That'd be a fun show to do one time.
Like all those claims of communism and all that kind of stuff.
A lot to dig in there.
They accused everybody.
The Red Scare and all the blacklists and...
Bobby Kennedy worked on that committee for about 6 months, and then he fucking quit because he was like, you guys are out of your mind.
Yeah.
He always respected and looked up to Joseph McCarthy, though.
It's a punk.
Yeah.
And that too, I watched that Dalton Trumbo movie not too long ago. He was one of the screenwriters that was blacklisted in the 40s. Bryan Cranston was in it. It's really good if you want a little background on how that whole blacklist stuff went down. It's an interesting story.
What movie was it, did you say?
Trumbo, about Dalton Trumbo, the screenwriter. He was one of the original 10 that were blacklisted in the 40s.
Gotcha.
The communist thing didn't shock him. But what was weird was that Donald Menzel would even have any type of military clearance in the first place. Stanton dug some more and found out that Donald Menzel had been doing classified intelligence work starting back in the 1930s.
Well, the plot thickens. That's interesting.
Stanton found Menzel's file in the Harvard archives, and it had communications with President Kennedy regarding cryptography and breaking codes. So Stanton's first thought was that if the MJ-12 papers were real, Menzel might have been brought in to look at the weird symbols that were on the Roswell wreckage. Because remember, they said that there was like those pinkish purple like hieroglyphs on the side of some of that stuff.
Maybe it was just like weather markings, like hurricanes and
It might
tsunamis, and atmospheric. Okay.
But what really got Stanton to start believing that this could be real was when he found records of Menzel making numerous trips to Washington, D.C. and New Mexico in 1947.
Okay, so at this point, we have some interesting corroborating evidence, I feel. You can connect a lot of dots here, trying to prove that this document is real, in my opinion, at this stage in the story.
There's a lot of smoke
I got to say.
there, too.
Yeah, a lot of smoke. That's all I got to say about that. A lot of smoke. That's right.
His next step was to check out the dates on the MJ-12 documents. The executive order creating Majestic 12 was September 24th, 1947. According to President Truman's appointment book, he did meet with Dr. Vannevar Bush and Secretary of Defense James Forrestal, so that date could check out. Doesn't mean anything for sure, but he did meet with two of the people listed. The other date in question was November 18th, 1952, the day that the Majestic 12 briefing was given to President Eisenhower. Eisenhower was in Washington on that day for briefings, but there isn't anything concrete enough to say that Majestic 12 would have been part of those briefings.
So I think we need to clarify here. So on that date, it was President-elect Eisenhower, so it would have been a transition memo to the transition team, I believe. So
Correct.
if you look at it in that light, maybe you can say if it was important enough to provide to the transition team, maybe there's something to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when Ian mentioned it earlier, that he said it was an incoming memo for President Eisenhower that they initially discovered. So it was, just after he had won, prior to taking office.
Right.
So at this point in the investigation, stuff kind of hit a standstill. Like the names checked out. There's this weird thing with Donald Menzel, but nothing was really happening. Then in March of 1985, Bill Moore received a postcard in the mail that was postmarked from New Zealand and had a return address to Ethiopia. On the back of this postcard, it had the following message, quote, "When doors won't open, search for windows. Add zest to your trip to Washington. Try Reese's Pieces for a stylish look. Shop Suitland."
Oh, it's pretty cryptic, right? New Zealand,
Imagine how fun it would be to be Bill Moore.
Oh, yeah. This sounds like a fun little, I don't know, what do you even call it? Treasure hunt?
Yeah,
It's like
right?
the original national treasure.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Oddly, Stanton Friedman had a meeting with a guy named Ed Reese, who worked at the National Archives.
Stop it. Come on.
And Ed tells him that the Air Force is in the process of declassifying a bunch of records from the late 1940s and early 1950s, and these records are going to be kept at a facility in Suitland, Maryland.
Come on. The plot thickens here.
It's all coming together.
It is. Everything's tying together. We'll be right back.
Is there something interfering with your happiness? Something keeping you from achieving your 2020 goals? Let's face it, these are certainly trying times. From being cooped up inside your home to wondering how you're going to pay next month's bills, we're all experiencing some form of stress or strain on our mental health. And for that, BetterHelp is here for us. BetterHelp is an online mental health provider that will assess your needs and match you up with your own licensed professional therapist. The best part? No waiting rooms. That's a pretty big deal if you're as impatient as I am. BetterHelp is a safe and private online environment that will have you communicating with a counselor within the first 24 hours. And once you've begun, you can send your counselor a message at any time, always getting a helpful response in a timely manner. You even have the ability to schedule weekly video or phone sessions, all from the comfort of your very own couch. BetterHelp is available worldwide and has a broad range of expertise available, including licensed professional counselors who specialize in depression, stress, anxiety, relationships, sleeping, trauma, anger, family conflict, LGBT matters, grief, and self-esteem. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they're currently recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. Not happy with your counselor? No worries. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches and makes it easy and free to change counselors if needed. Remember, everything you share with your BetterHelp counselor is completely confidential. And while it's not a crisis line, It is a convenient, professional, and affordable way to seek the help you deserve. Financial aid is even offered to those who qualify. Want to hear how BetterHelp assisted people just like you? Check out the testimonials posted daily on their site. Look, we here at Necronomipod want you to start living a happier life. So, as a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting betterhelp.com/necro. Join over 1 million people already taking charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, betterhelp.com/necro.
In July of 1985, Jamie and Bill flew out to Suitland, Maryland to check out these declassified records. And after days of going through papers, they get to one memo that holds a bit of hope. The memo is from National Security Advisor Robert Cutler to Air Force General Nathan Twining, who was listed on the Majestic 12 papers and was the guy that spoke to the media about Roswell. It's a pretty routine memo about a meeting that needed to be rescheduled regarding the, quote, MJ-12 Studies Project. The memo doesn't specifically mention the name Majestic 12. It just says MJ-12, and it doesn't exactly say what MJ-12 is.
Could it be Michael Jackson's 12 victims that we've never heard of yet?
It could be.
Okay. Well, if you watch Square One, you might learn the truth.
Yeah, you'll learn that it didn't happen, Pally. You should watch it. Educate yourself before you speak. You sound ignorant, man. Just a mediocre white guy. That's what you are, Dave.
I've never claimed to be anything different.
That's what we were called. That's why I brought that up. We were called that at one point. Most truthful tweet we've ever received. Excuse me.
Absolutely. Without a doubt, 100% accurate.
It's worth noting that the memo couldn't be taken from the archive, but a copy was allowed to be made, so it could be faked. Like, they weren't allowed to actually take the original copy out from there. So it's possible.
So, I mean, it could be fake, but it's also easily confirmable by just another trip to the archives. But the person trying to confirm it also couldn't get a copy, so they could not prove it was, you know what I mean? You're like in an endless circle.
And around we go.
Yeah. For the next 2 years, they go down every avenue possible to find reference to Majestic 12, and with no leads, they decided to go public in 1987. They sent out copies of the Majestic 12 papers and the Cutler Twining memo to every media outlet they could think of, along with a press release that said in part, quote, although we are not in a position to endorse its authenticity at this time, it is our considered opinion that the document and its contents appear to be genuine.
Sounds like the statement Mike's frat used to send out to respond to inquiries about his cocksmanship.
Hey, it appeared to be genuine. That's all I needed to hear. Thanks, Pallies. You don't have to endorse it.
The story gained a ton of traction, and Stanton Friedman ended up doing an interview with ABC Nightline, with the New York Times and the Washington Post writing about the story. 3 days after the release, the London Observer picked up the story and focused on the Cutler Twining memo. They spoke with the employee who had been helping Bill and Jamie at the archives in Maryland, and she confirmed to them that the memo was real and was found in the archives. But the London Observer pointed out the biggest issue with the memo, the fact that it wasn't signed. And at this point in the story, this brings us to Philip Klass.
Uh-oh, your buddy.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
The hero of the story finally arrives.
Impeccable moral standard, that guy, right?
Yeah.
Philip Klass will kick some ass.
You know, if you listen to the Travis Walton episode that we did, the Fire in the Sky one, Philip Klass is one of the most vocal, or was one of the most vocal people against UFOs in the country at the time. And my biggest issue with him and everybody else that, you know, is interested in UFOs and stuff is that he would use personal attacks against people, like stuff that had absolutely nothing to do with UFOs, and would just try to destroy people's credibility very publicly. And he specifically had it out for Stanton Friedman. Actually, earlier today, I was watching the interview on ABC Nightline. It was Stanton. It was basically a debate with Stanton Friedman versus Philip Klass. It's absolutely ridiculous.
And it was as coherent as the last two Biden-Trump debates, which is two people yelling at each other.
Come on, man. Shut up, man.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, every time Stanton starts bringing up something, You hear Philip Glass in the background saying it's nonsense and stuff, and it's just ridiculous.
Yep.
And incidentally, Philip Glass, we like you said, we mentioned him first in like Fire in the Sky with Travis Walton. That was the one UFO story where the three of us agreed that we believed that something happened, right?
I believe that story, yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, and I don't remember to a T if we believed every single thing, but we believe they did experience something odd, something, something different that night, and it's just crazy that that's where Philip Glass comes in. The one thing we all agree on, and this guy's like, no, fuck you.
Yeah, he made it his life. Like, he really had it out for Stan Friedman, but then when the Fire in the Sky stuff happened, he kind of made it his life work to credit or disprove those guys, and went to really personal lengths to
just
try and do that.
normal everyday, like hardworking citizens that had this experience, and then he just goes after them.
Philip Glass really, he seems like a guy that might have got abducted by aliens and got the Barney Hill treatment, and he's real mad about it.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Tell you what, if I was Barney Hill, I'd be out for revenge too. Snazzy dresser, though. That man looked good.
That's true. What was the name of his
What was their dog's name? What was the dog's name? What did you say, Dave?
Beat me to it. I was going to ask you what the dog's name was.
It starts with a D.
You're on the right track.
Yeah, you got it.
Fuck, what is it? It's a wiener dog.
Delcy.
Delcy. I was going to say Dotsy. Delcy. Yeah, because we had the photo of like the family picture of the two of them with Delcy on their lap.
So Philip Glass starts to point out flaws in the Majestic 12 documents and the Cutler Twining memo. In the Majestic 12 briefing, the date is formatted as day, month, comma, year, but the standard for government documents at the time was month, day, comma, year.
So overseas, they do it day, month. So does that lead us to believe that someone overseas was faking this?
Well, but Dave, overseas, they do everything wrong with the fucking metric system. Come on, get it together. Dumbasses.
Is that right?
Do it our way. Come on.
So I have a question.
Sure.
Steel cage barbed wire death match, Friedman or Class?
Who would win?
Yeah.
Who was the more physically imposing man? If that even makes sense in the UFO community.
I guess Philip Glass, he's extremely hostile, man. If you ever watch any of his interviews, he's always so goddamn angry. That's why I said I think he got the Barney Hill treatment. He's just really mad about it and is out there trying to discredit aliens. He's very angry all the time.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking at pictures. Philip Glass looks angry. Stan Friedman does not look like he would be a tough individual.
He's a nuclear physicist.
No, he'd outsmart you. Maybe that's the thing. He'll outsmart you into like hurting yourself.
Well, Class is an astrophysicist.
That's true too.
Is a steel cage? Can you have a barbed wire steel cage death match? I don't want these wrestling guys to be attacking me like I'm an imbecile on Monday morning.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that happens in Japan weekly, Dave. I'll take the heat on that. They do all kinds of that. They're actually WWE did a barbed wire steel cage match.
All right.
This is going to be a little embarrassing, but it was in February 2004, the No Way Out pay-per-view. John Bradshaw Layfield. I'm sorry, February 2005, not 2004. 2005.
Well, easy mistake.
Oh, no, sorry. John Bradshaw Layfield defended the WWE Championship against The Big Show in a barbed wire steel cage match. It was not a death match, though, Dave, so apologies.
Okay.
That's a good look into the three of us hanging out. Because when we were watching wrestling, I can say like, oh yeah, remember that one match with, I don't know, just come up with two random wrestlers and you'd be like, oh yeah, and give me the exact date, year,
the location,
where it was,
the attendance, the pay-per-view buy rate.
That's great.
Yeah. That's, I think, the one and only barbed wire cage match in WWE history.
Thanks for clarifying.
So Class went on to say that the signature by Harry Truman on the Majestic 12 briefing was too perfect. He claimed that it was photocopied from a specific letter that Truman sent in 1947. He might be right. He's probably right. I'll go ahead and say that now. He's probably right that it was photocopied. But it's not the one that he was talking about, because you can clearly see the differences when he put them side by side. It's not the same signature. But I think he's correct in the photocopying, and we'll get into that later.
Okay.
But
that's fair.
This just seemed like him being an asshole to be in. One of his things of just being an asshole to be an asshole on the signature thing. In the Cutler Twining memo, Class said that the typeface was wrong. It was typed out in a larger font called Pica, and he said all the documents from Cutler's office use a smaller font called Elite. He went as far as to put out a public challenge to Stanton Friedman that he would give Stanton $100 for every memo from Cutler's office that used the Pica font, and Stanton ended up finding 34 of them.
God damn.
This is something that these two would do back and forth each other. Like these really petty things. Class would always put up this stuff like, well, I'll give you this much money if you can prove this. And Stan would be like, all right, fucko here. And would prove it to him. And it's just this back and forth thing. It's so weird.
Do you think that they actually like kind of grew like a respect and like a friendly rivalry for each other? Or do you think they legit hated each other?
No, I don't think Philip Class liked anybody. He seems like a guy that did not have any friends in life. He seems like such an asshole.
Poor guy.
Sounds to me like Class is dismissed.
Yeah! It's perfect. That's the happiest I've been in at least a decade.
The biggest issue with these documents that Stanton, Bill Moore, and Jamie don't have an explanation for is that the Majestic 12 briefing refers to Roscoe Hillenkotter as Admiral when his rank was actually Rear Admiral. And these ranks are a huge difference. And we're talking, 4-star general versus like a 1 or 2-star.
Right.
The author is claimed to be Roscoe Hillenkotter, so you would have to then believe that Hillenkotter got his own rank wrong in writing these, and that just doesn't make any sense at all.
Maybe he's just trying to give himself a promotion. I don't know. Who knows?
Could be. I guess so.
We're just speculating here. We don't know.
I mean, like what? He called Mike the Coxman. Right? Maybe he called himself Coxman General or something. He just tried to embellish a little bit.
I was a 4-star Coxman, not just a Coxman. 4-star. Graduated second in my class.
You graduated magna cum loudly, right?
Jesus Christ. Graduated make them come loudly. I was the valedictorian. We're here all night, folks. Come back next week.
Try the veal. We'll be here all week.
Join Patreon. Plenty more of these jokes.
All this petty fighting that started going on, because we didn't really talk about it, or haven't talked about it yet, but these documents, I'll bring it up later too, but the Majestic 12 documents, they really divide the UFO community. These are like one of the most controversial subjects in UFO lore. This petty fighting between Stanton Friedman and Philip Class, and then there's all this other side fighting going on about this stuff. It could have easily been solved by the FBI regarding these documents, but they were silent on the Majestic 12 papers for over a year. The FBI was eventually asked by the Air Force Office of Special Investigations to look at the Majestic 12 documents. The agent in charge of the MJ-12 documents had never heard of Majestic 12, but there was some other classified information mentioned in them, so he just assumed that they were real. A month later, the FBI issued a memo saying the Air Force OSI had now advised them to close the investigations and that the documents were fake. A few years later, another FBI agent came across the Majestic 12 papers, so he reached out to the Department of Defense, because when this agent came across him, he's like, what the fuck is this? What am I even looking at right now? So he contacts the Department of Defense. They didn't know what it was either, but there's some info that in the documents that is accurate. So again, the FBI launched a second investigation. This time, the Air Force OSI completely ignored the FBI, and the investigation went nowhere.
You guys know I used to work for the Department of Defense?
Oh, yeah?
I did know that.
That's true. I wasn't involved in any of this, though.
No joke needed. That was just a humble brag by Dave.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Oh, you really did? I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Years and years ago.
He gave up that job, and now he serves you sandwiches at Subway. So, he's a giver, though. He's a giver.
I swept the floors at Area 51. That's what I did. I got lots of knowledge I can't talk about, though. That was me on the Art Bell tape flying. I was flying.
I was going to say,
flying my plane in there.
Dave's the one who gave that guy the inside information. He flew his plane over Area 51 in the single greatest Art Bell call of all time. God, we did Art Bell back on Halloween. I already missed it. I want to do another fucking Art Bell show. I have so much fun with those.
That's a good time.
The FBI would then eventually release the file on Majestic 12 in December of 1993 with the word bogus written over every page of it.
That's bold.
So it's weird, and this will come up in a little bit here, but that the Air Force OSI is basically stonewalling the FBI on anything regarding these papers, any investigation into them. It just kind of dies out. The FBI releasing this and writing bogus on everything, it obviously fuels people in the UFO world that believe in these papers. And then a year or two after this, we talked about it in our Roswell episode. The Air Force released their report on Roswell and called it case closed. And in that, they claimed that it was a weather balloon and that it was something called Project Mogul, which pissed everybody in the UFO community off even more because after all this time with Roswell, and there were some congressmen at the time pushing for them to just release the stuff on Roswell, the Air Force basically just came out and doubled down on the whole weather balloon story. And then the Air Force didn't stop after that. They said that was case closed. And then a couple years after that, they released another report on the aspect of the bodies. Like it was weird. They just kept bringing it up instead of just
letting it go.
Yeah, they just kept fueling the fire on Roswell.
Bringing it up, but not actually providing anything worth, with substance.
Right, because Project Mogul was a weather balloon project, but it was like a souped up weather balloon that they had microphones attached to it, and the plan was to get it high enough to where they could hear if the Soviet Union was testing nuclear weapons.
Mm-hmm. Makes perfect sense to me.
This debate on whether or not the Majestic 12 documents were real or not went on in the UFO community for years. And then in 2007, there was kind of a break in the case. There's a guy in the UFO world named Bob Pratt, and he worked with Bill Moore a lot in the 1980s. Bob had a habit of recording conversations to go back for reference. And some of these recordings were of conversations between Bill Moore and Air Force OSI Special Agent Richard Doty. Bill had
this guy's an individual.
He's something, man. He, we're going to talk about him here for about a page and a half or so, but Richard Doty deserves an episode on just a whole Richard Doty episode because the stuff that this guy is involved in is crazy. Bill had been speaking with Richard Doty since 1980 and had set up a deal where Bill would tell Richard Doty what was going on with the Roswell investigation and in UFO groups. And in return, the Air Force would provide Bill with credible UFO information. In December of 1981, Richard Doty told Bill that all of the knowledge about UFOs was compiled into a briefing in 1952, and that briefing was given to incoming President Eisenhower. So let's get into Richard Doty a bit. He's easily one of the most controversial figures in the UFO world. He had a 20-year career in the Air Force with several of those years spent in OSI as an intelligence agent.
Mike, you watched The Mirage Men yesterday, right?
I did. A couple days ago, actually.
It's an interesting documentary on Richard Doty.
It is extremely interesting. I wasn't able to finish it. I had to, get to other stuff, but I had like a half hour left of it, but I watched the bulk of it and it was just pretty crazy how he's just like, I lied to everybody for, all this time and,
right.
Misled people all throughout the UFO community and, but hey, whatever. I'm just like, everyone else on the street.
Was that at Amazon Prime right now, right? If anyone wants to watch that. Mirage Men.
It is on Amazon Prime called Mirage Men.
It's interesting.
You might have to search. Like, there's a few movies called Mirage Men as well. So make sure you're finding the one from like 2013. Because this is it's an actual documentary. It's not a movie.
The guy that made the documentary also wrote a book on it. It's called Mirage Men too. It's really detailed. It goes into a lot more detail on some of that stuff that Richard Doty was up to. Back when he was in the Air Force, Doty was stationed at Kirtland Air Force Base in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and claims that he was assigned the task of spreading disinformation within the UFO community. specifically forging documents and infiltrating UFO groups. The reasoning for this, according to him, was to hide classified projects the military was working on and to find out if Soviet agents had infiltrated any UFO groups. Doty's story has changed multiple times over the years since he has retired from the military, and a lot of the stuff that he says is contradictory, which I personally think that he does it on purpose. The Air Force also refuses to publicly address anything regarding Richard Doty.
Why would they, right? Like, we don't know that guy. I don't know.
Especially what we're about to get into here in a second.
He just loves fucking with people, that guy. He might still be on the job.
Yeah, and that's the thing about him that irks me about him. It's not like I get it. If he was assigned these jobs, that's his job. I get it. But in civilian life, there's evidence that he continues to do it. And it seems like he does it just for the hell of it with some things. And it's like, all right, man, so what's the end game now? What do you just like fucking with people or what?
All right.
Doty's role in the UFO world started with a guy named Paul Benowitz, who owned a humidity equipment company that had contracts with Kirtland Air Force Base. His house and office were near Kirtland, and he believed that he was seeing UFOs over part of the base that housed nuclear weapons. He also believed that he was receiving transmissions from aliens that flew those UFOs. He was out there videotaping lights that he was seeing over the base and things like that. The Air Force sent out Richard Doty to investigate, but OSI decided that further investigation was unwarranted. Paul Benowitz wasn't giving this up, and a few days later, he was allowed to present his evidence to some officers and scientists at the base. Paul wanted a grant to conduct more research, and one of the scientists said that he would help Paul fill out that paperwork for a grant. Freedom of Information Act documents that were released state that 2 U.S. senators from New Mexico had called or shown up to Kirtland to check on OSI's investigation of Paul Benowitz and his claims of alien contact. Apparently, Paul Benowitz had requested their help, and both times the senators were told that there was no investigation. Doty claims what the senators were told was not true. Doty says he was told to make Paul Benowitz believe that there was an impending alien invasion because Benowitz was actually observing secret Air Force projects. According to Doty, the Air Force wanted to discredit Paul Benowitz so no one would figure that out. However, Doty claims that in doing so, he created hoax documents that were given to Paul Benowitz and other UFO researchers, and that he broke into Paul's house and office.
It's really hard to figure out what's true in this story with Doty and Benowitz. There's just so much.
Yeah, there's so much.
Yeah, disinformation floating around.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. I also do find it hard to believe that would the Air Force really be running secret projects so close to like civilian homes, to like where they could just see it out their windows like Benowitz was doing? That seems kind of odd to me, that they would even put themselves in a situation where that civilians could see all this.
One of the things that Paul Benowitz drew that he saw, because this is back in the 80s, one of the things that he drew from back then sure as hell looks like a modern day drone from today. So I'm wondering if some of this that he had seen was them testing drones, because back in the 80s, they would definitely not want anybody to know about the drones that we have today, any testing of that.
And so
I would assume.
Why would they be testing them so close to like residential homes where he can just like see them from like his porch? That's just what I think to me is weird. Like if it's so top secret, why are people even living anywhere near this area where they're testing it?
That was Kirtland Air Force Base, right? Like in Albuquerque. That's where where Benowitz lived. I mean, there's not that many remote places. I mean, even Area 51 is so far out in the fucking desert, but people still go there and they witness things going on there.
I mean, I guess, but I mean, if you're going to be that secretive about it, I don't think you're going to be doing it right where people can see it from their front lawn.
Well, and that's one of Doty's reasonings for why he and other people would infiltrate UFO groups, was because a lot of these guys in MUFON and things like that were hanging out around these bases close enough to potentially see something, and they wanted to know if any Soviet people had infiltrated some of these groups potentially.
I mean, the logic makes sense. So I'm this guy, I see, drones being tested at the Air Force Base. I'm like, I don't know what a drone is, so my mind immediately goes to, UFOs or whatnot. So the Air Force says, hey, go out and fuck with this guy. Tell him, yeah, you're on the track of UFOs, and just lead him off in another direction. So they think that, there's a UFO cover up and whatnot, and it kind of obscures, the military hardware, whatever they're actually testing. I mean, it makes sense. It's logical.
I agree. I think that does make sense. Like, that it absolutely could be drones. And back in this day, you would think they're UFOs. I don't know. I just feel like if the government wants to secretly test something, they can do it without anybody being aware of it.
I don't know that that's true. I don't think that's true, though. I don't think that's true. I mean, we're not in Siberia. There's not... I mean, Area 51 is a pretty remote location, and people can see in Vegas what's going on in Area 51 sometime.
I guess that gets to a whole bigger argument of I feel like there's probably a whole lot of land and area and stuff that we don't even know about. But that's probably a whole nother thing.
I mean, the federal government owns what, like 90% of the state of Nevada? Well, they have it, but people still end up seeing it.
I don't know. I'm just saying if it's that top secret of a thing, I feel like the government wouldn't be this sloppy. But again, I don't know where that plays out in this story because I don't know what the fuck is true and what isn't in this story.
Yeah, right. It's hard.
So I don't even know. I don't even know if my point is relevant because who the fuck knows?
But if people see, your test stuff and the disinformation stuff that get them off the trail makes sense to me. It's what I would do.
Yeah, that absolutely does. I do agree with that. That does make sense.
Well, and the thing with Paul is that they end up feeding, or Richard Doty specifically ends up feeding all this stuff into his head about everything that he comes to them is true. So, and Paul would come back with, he got some audio recordings, and he's like, this has to be the, this is the UFOs, and they're like, well, shit, he's tapped in. He caught some audio recording of something else. So they ramp it up even further on him, and they end up taking him out, like flying over the Dulce area, where that in itself, Paul ends up claiming that he sees UFOs coming out of the mountains out there. And that's a whole other episode. That's a full Sunday episode, is the Dulce base UFO conspiracy theory on what's going on out there. And that all stems from Paul Benowitz and the disinformation that Richard Doty was feeding him.
I mean, that guy lost his business. That guy took a big hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Freedom of Information Act request, it is confirmed 100% that Richard Doty did give Paul Benowitz documents that would make him believe he was under investigation, even though Doty told senators that this was not the case. And like you just said, Dave, they lost everything. Paul Benowitz eventually was checked into a mental health facility due to paranoia. I mean, he just completely went crazy over this.
They fucked with them so much, yeah.
They really did, yeah.
There's a quote from the guy that wrote the book Miragman and did the documentary, where he says that Paul was a patriotic guy. He was on the Air Force's side. He worked with them. He had contracts with them. They were business partners. If he really saw something, they could have just said, "Hey, Paul, don't talk about that. Like, get rid of that video and get rid of anything else, and just don't bring it up." And he would have done that. I think this was truly to just figure out if a disinformation campaign would work regarding UFOs.
Hey, let's just ruin someone's fucking life just to see if it works.
Because then you find out that the NSA is actually involved doing a whole side thing on Paul that has nothing to do with Richard Doty. They're sending him messages onto his computer. And Bill Moore was involved in breaking into Paul's house, planning things onto his computer.
Bill Moore was directly involved in that too?
Bill Moore has admitted that he was involved with Richard Doty breaking into Paul Benowitz's house, planning things.
That's a whole nother level there.
And Bill Moore said that he did it in the promise that he would be given true UFO information.
What about other people who were in this area that might have just been normal civilians? Were they ever making reports of seeing stuff that we know of? Or was it just Benowitz?
I don't know. I think the thing you always hear about out around Area 51 or places in New Mexico, around these Air Force bases, people would call into Art Bell all the time. Or I know George Knapp has said, talking to people, everyone's like, yeah, everybody sees some weird stuff every once in a while out in New Mexico.
So it just becomes a part of everyday life.
Yeah.
Yeah, living in the Southwest, it's just a given. You see some weird stuff.
No.
I think it was George Knapp, now that I'm thinking about it more, said something like, yeah, you see weird lights every once in a while you see some weird lights out in New Mexico. Richard Doty claims that he had nothing to do with the Majestic 12 documents and that he was investigated and cleared of having any involvement. However, Richard Doty has been proven to have his hand in multiple disinformation campaigns, including one against Art Bell's favorite guest, Linda Moulton Howe, spreading the information about Project Serpo, which we'll do an episode on that one day, what was done to Paul Benowitz, and more importantly for this story, years-long information exchanges with Bill Moore. I think there's no coincidence that Richard Doty and Bill Moore set up this plan to share information.
That's amazing. That's true, yeah.
Richard Doty's life story is about as credible as like a Wikipedia page. Like, just anything can get thrown in there. You don't really know what's true and what isn't. You kind of filter through it and take it for what it's worth.
So what's the idea, though? Is Moore and Doty in cahoots from the beginning, or did that original movie idea touch a nerve somewhere with the Air Force, and they sent Doty out with this whole substantial misinformation campaign from day one?
There's a lot of people that believe that Bill Moore was a genuine person, and he just had this idea that for whatever reason, he was the chosen one, that the Air Force would actually give him the information. So he played along with them, and that they really wanted to know about what he was doing with the Roswell stuff. But more importantly, they wanted to know what was going on in those UFO groups like MUFON and stuff like that.
Sure. And
then maybe this movie thing that he was doing with Jamie Shindera did strike a nerve, because Richard Doty would have 100% known about that movie idea. He was in very close contact with Bill Moore. And the way, like, when you dig into Richard Doty a bit and see how he plays these games with people, especially that postcard that was talking about the Reese's Pieces thing.
Yeah, right.
That has Richard Doty all over it.
That's interesting.
And the kind of...
that postcard gave them everything they needed, like spelled it out.
Yeah, like just the subterfuge and the envelope within an envelope, and the envelope was like, oh, this must be top secret. It's hidden in 3 envelopes. Right. That's got his name written all over it. Yeah, I'm not buying this at all.
And unfortunately, there are a ton of people in the UFO community that believe that the Majestic 12 papers are 100% real, and Stanton Friedman is included in that. He died thinking that those were 100% real, refused to believe that Richard Doty had anything to do with it.
Did he give any specific reasons, like what his big rationale for that coming to that conclusion was?
I think it's just with the UFO thing, it gets so goddamn confusing sometimes that you could like kind of, I don't know what they call it in like yes-anding yourself. Like you could talk yourself into.
It's like they work themselves into a shoot sometimes, Ian. Like they don't know to get some wrestling speak again. Like they don't know what the fuck's real and what's not anymore. Like they pull so much wool over people's eyes that it's like, well, wait a minute, where the fuck is the actual truth? Yeah. And I think people even on the inside don't even know.
I think that's what it does with stuff with like what Richard Doty does, and what some of this other disinformation stuff has done is. It's like you don't know what the truth is anymore with UFO stories.
That's the whole idea, though.
Yeah, and if you want to believe Richard Doty, which I don't believe anything that the guy says, but if you believe what he says 80% of it is disinformation, 20% is real, and the 20% that's real is the craziest shit. The craziest stuff that you hear about is the stuff that's real, according to him.
Which just makes me think, like, how much shit is actually out there then, that like the government knows about or the military knows about. If the craziest stuff is real, then there's got to be a whole ton of stuff that we aren't necessarily aware of that actually exists.
And this is where you get into the whole thing that's going on recently with Tom DeLonge from Blink-182, because you like when I first saw all that stuff with him, I'm like, what the fuck? What, like, really? Tom DeLonge from Blink-182? Like, this makes no sense at all. When WikiLeaks dropped all of John Podesta's emails, was that it's like 2016 maybe, something like that? That was the first word of any of that. It's like, wait, what the fuck is this? There's a bunch of emails in here of John Podesta and Tom DeLonge talking about UFOs.
Right.
I believe in those emails, they did confirm that all the small things was not written about me.
I never heard that confirmed.
Well, you better check WikiLeaks, Pally.
And then you see how like gung-ho Tom DeLonge is, and then he starts getting these other credible people around him, like really, really credible people. I know George Knapp wrote an article about it and had voiced his concern and stuff. Is Tom DeLonge getting the Paul Benowitz treatment here, or was he in the process of it? And then the WikiLeaks thing exposed it, so it didn't go any further. Now it obviously has gone further because he's still doing it, and those people are still working with him, and they have that documentary just came out and some different things. But that was the first thing that George Knapp brought up is like, wait, is Tom DeLonge getting the Paul Benowitz treatment here? Are they just stringing him along? It's weird.
Yeah, that's an interesting question.
I like that new show, though. It was really funny. They were having, giving like all these really, really credible high-level people, like the History Channel guy voice. And then and you keep seeing like the table, and they're showing it, and you see Tom DeLonge sitting there the whole time. And they don't say anything about him. I'm like, are they really just gonna fucking ignore Tom DeLonge?
Which one?
Like,
which one's that? The Phenomenon one?
No, it's called Unidentified. It's this new. It's it's a new show with him, his whole group.
Right.
And I'm like, are they really just gonna fucking ignore him? And at the end, in the History Channel guy voice, it's like, and led by their unlikely leader, Blink 182 guitarist Tom DeLonge. Like, get the fuck out of here.
What do we gotta do to get Tom DeLonge on this show for an interview?
It'd be cool.
Ask him about UFOs.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Right.
We'll do a whole show. Like, Dave and I'll just sit here and drink beer and look at pictures of Casey Anthony, and Ian and him can nerd out for 2 hours and talk, and we'll fucking get ratings. We'll get downloads.
Mike, if you take off your pants and jacket, he'll probably come on.
Oh, gladly. Gladly. On video, I'll do it. Not even for patrons, just for any listener, and for Tom DeLonge. I'll take off my pants and jacket. And then look at pictures of Casey Anthony, so it's fitting.
Who is one of 4 in the poll for the first show of 2021. Great choice, in my opinion.
Hey, Casey Anthony, Israel Keys, West Memphis 3, and who's the last one?
Leonard Lake, Charles Eng.
Leonard Lake, Charles Eng. 4 of the most popularly requested topics. So we put them all out there. And, we'll get to this again at the end of the wrap-up. We're going to cover all of them at some point, but it's just which one do you want to hear right away in January? Go vote at necronomipod.com. Anyways, back to this.
2 other things I wanted to bring up real quick before we wrap it up is, I said that one of the campaigns was against one of Art's favorite guests, Linda Moulton Howe.
She was on there all the time.
Yeah, oh yeah. I like listening to her. Mm-hmm. I think she's another one that fully believes the Majestic 12 paper. She does some really good work, but I think she's very gullible at times too. But she was at the time back in the 80s, early 90s. She was doing a documentary trying to break the case open on cattle mutilations. And according to Richard Doty, she had struck a nerve with the government on that, and that's why they started a campaign against her, and he fed her all kind of bullshit. According to her and him, I mean, he confirms it, that he showed her documents about how aliens created us, that we're a product of aliens kind of harvesting Earth and like modifying DNA and things like that. There's that whole theory out there with like the ancient alien stuff, and he forged documents and showed those to Linda Howe.
Interesting. She bought
Guy's
it.
got his... She 100%
She
bought
took it on Art Bell's show and talked about it?
Yep.
Yeah.
He literally has his hand in like almost every type of lore you can think of. See, he somehow has his hand in it, spreading some form of disinformation.
Yeah.
There's the whole thing with Harry Truman. Supposedly Harry Truman had signed a treaty with aliens way back in the 40s. Allowing them to do the abductions.
Really?
To do the abductions and do testings.
I've not heard that one before. That's a new little tidbit.
That's got
a treaty with aliens.
A treaty with the Greys.
Wow.
Speaking of, I know we've done a lot of presidential talk tonight, but whatever. It's a forte of ours. Other than I'm more than just pro wrestling, folks. But an interesting note. So while he was campaigning for the governor of Georgia in 1969, Jimmy Carter alleged to have seen a UFO somewhere down in a small town in Georgia when he was out, kind of meeting folks. And in 1973, when he was actually in office, he had reported it to people. It was kind of like a little bit of a thing, but nothing major. In 1973, while he was the governor, NASA contacted him and sent him this questionnaire. And most of his advisors were like, yeah, throw this the fuck out. Like, this is ridiculous. We don't need to stand out by this. But in 73, Carter knew he was going to be running for president in 76. And he knew there was a strong following in the alien community. So he thought, hey, this might be good for votes. Yeah, I'm going to double down on this. He filled out their questionnaire, explained exactly what he saw that night, what he thought he saw, or, what his experience was, filled it out, sent it back to them, and, did it as a way because in that era, they thought that was a good way to get votes, was to kind of play into that UFO sighting population. So he did that. Mm-hmm. It turns out in 2016, they discovered that about 250 kilometers away from where Jimmy Carter was that night in Florida, they had launched a barium cloud up into space. And that's probably what he saw that night. So he wasn't making it up. Huh. He did see something, but it was a barium cloud.
What's a barium cloud?
On top. So I looked it up, actually, and then I did not write it down. So give me 1 second. Barium cloud. Barium cloud is used to study the motion of both ions and neutrals in space. So science people can figure that out. But either way, that's what it was. So then on top of that, in 1970, when Ronald Reagan was governor of California, as his aircraft was landing in California, he alleged to have seen a UFO outside of the plane window and apparently ordered his pilot to follow it because he wanted to know what it was. Again, this was a time when politicians thought it was, good for votes to have seen UFOs, or just to kind of connect to that community because they thought it would be good for, for their standing. So Jimmy Carter in 1969 and Ronald Reagan in 1970. Both had alleged UFO sightings.
I seem to recall a story about Carter promising to spill the beans on UFOs once he was in office, too, and then crying.
It's true, he did. And then when he got in office, he was allegedly found out that it would spill a lot of national, high security secrets, and never really touched on the matter again, much to the dismay of the UFO community.
Exactly right, yeah.
Yes.
So that in and of itself is it's quite a story.
Yeah. Jimmy Carter really did, claim Jimmy Carter, his reputation's always been an honest guy. He doesn't, there's not a whole lot of, scandal with Jimmy Carter. He alleged to have seen a UFO, describes what he saw in Georgia that night. And it turns out there was something, launching into space that night that they said met the criteria of what he could have seen. So he was honest about his. I don't know much about Ronald Reagan's. I haven't dove into that as much. But, so from that point forward, Jimmy Carter, said he was going to release all the information. But I think, it's a great promise. But once you get to the White House, I feel like, there is a lot of national security you have to consider. Probably.
The guy that Tom DeLonge works with, that's part of his team, I don't remember his exact title off the top of my head, but he's like one of the top intelligence guys for the Defense Department during like 9/11. Like, this guy is no just standard government employee or anything. This guy is like a really high level guy named Christopher Mellon. It was kind of his opinion was like the same thing that I kind of thought for a long time, is that the government really doesn't know what UFOs are. So that's why they don't admit anything. Mm-hmm. He was saying if there is something like crashed stuff from Roswell or something, that it would be hidden behind a huge layer of black ops projects and stuff that even presidents don't have the access to that kind of stuff.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
If that part of it's real, that's his opinion.
I think that makes sense. Like, just some of this stuff just gets so diluted with, what's top secret, what's real, what isn't real, what's disinformation. Who the fuck knows? And then when you get to the point of like when we're questioning what even the president might know, well, then of course none of us schmucks are going to fucking know.
I know. I've been going really hard on aliens recently, getting ready for this one, like behind doing Fred and Rose West. I watched a bunch of that Tom DeLonge's show, and I watched that documentary Phenomenon stuff. And then I started doing all the Richard Doty stuff. And by the end of reading about Richard Doty and all this stuff, I'm like, I'm just fucking confused. I don't know what's real, what's not anymore. I don't know what to believe. Like, I start believing that, I'm going along the line of J. Allen Hynek and Jacques Vallée, that it's interdimensional. And then Tom DeLonge's people start convincing me that maybe they are physical. And then Richard Doty just confuses everything. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't know what to believe anymore.
Which is exactly what Richard Doty was sent here to do.
Exactly.
Like, he literally did what he was supposed to do. Confuse the fuck out of everyone. Yeah. I don't know. This was a fun conversation tonight, I think. Got into some good stuff.
Sure we did.
Ian, any final thoughts? I know we kind of closed up there for about a half hour, but you got any final thoughts on this one?
No, it's fun to get back into aliens and read about all this stuff again. I mean, we touched on a handful of full Sunday episodes in this one with all the bullshit that Richard Doty
Project Serpo. Yeah.
That one's really interesting. And man, if anybody watches that documentary, Mirage Men stuff, I feel really bad for the guy that runs the Project Serpo website, because he just refuses to believe that he was duped by Richard Doty.
Dave, you got anything else on this one?
No, I have nothing. Good, fun topic, though.
Yeah, I agree. I don't either. But as we said earlier, I will remind everyone that you can vote on the first topic of 2021 that we cover on necronomipod.com. There is Leonard Lake and Charles Ng, Casey Anthony, the West Memphis Three, and Israel Keys. Those are the four probably most requested topics we have. You guys can vote right now at necronomipod.com on which one you want us to cover in January. While you're at necronomipod.com, check out our merch page. We still have Black Friday sales going on stickers and koozies, so be sure to pick up some of those. If you want our authentic merchandise, Amazon.com/Necronomipod, or Amazon.com, and then search Necronomipod. Make sure the seller is Amazon so that you're not buying any bootleg shit. And you can still order now and get all of your stuff by Christmas. So plenty of time to do all of that as well. All right, we got some new patrons to shout out. Like we said at the beginning, remember the $10 tier is changing for January 2021 per feedback from our listeners and our patrons. If you're at the $10 tier, the $5 tier and $1 tier are going to stay the same. No worries there. The $10 tier, you're still going to get 3 bonus shows a month. You're still going to get the Sunday show early and ad-free. You're also going to get a quarterly Zoom with us, so one every few months. You're going to get to vote once a month on one of the bonus shows. And you're also going to get a monthly Bible Babble with your pal Dave, exclusive to the $10 tier. That starts next month, January 2021. If any of you are not $10 patrons and you're interested in that, sign up to patreon.com/necronomipod and sign up for the $10 tier. We got some new patrons to shout out. Thank you very much to Jessica, Chloe Humphreys, Samantha Clayton, Mackenzie, Frederick Winther, B. Smitty, Nicole Zimmerman, Raul Medina, Mackenzie Behrens, Kayla Warnick, Jemima Ind, Kayla Diaz, Carolina Wagniska, Jane Papaandrea, Sarah, Claire Cohen, Eric Downing, Fallen Introvert, Lacey J, Christoph Swager, Luke New, Joshua Burke, and Javier Pandero. Thank you guys very much. We are at patreon.com/necronomipod. Ian, what do you got?
Before I jump into iTunes, I just have a quick follow-up Patreon shout out for Katina Newman. Sounds like she was going through a tough time, but she commented on some stuff on Patreon, so hope you're feeling better.
Thank you for listening.
And then for iTunes, I have one for Brain Dead Nerd, Nikki MD, and CPI Cat. Thank you guys for the awesome reviews.
Dave, you got anything from your end?
No, nothing in bad review corner this week. I think people are scared. They don't want to get called out in the bad review corner every week. So, no, we got no bad reviews.
when you're a perfect podcast, you don't get any bad reviews.
Yeah,
So
bring it.
excuse us. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed this show. I know we went off on tangents a little bit, but we had been, the last couple of weeks covering the West was, tough stuff to get through. So we got a little goofy tonight, but we also, Ian put together a fun story and an interesting story. So hope you guys enjoyed it. We are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube at Necronomipod. Don't forget to vote at necronomipod.com for the first show of 2021. That vote is up and the poll will be going on until Christmas Eve. So you have, a couple weeks to get that in, but make sure you get your vote in. Follow us on all the socials, and we will talk to you guys next week.
All right, you guys ready for a cool down beer?
Cheers.